Chapter 9, Keys to Departure. Scene 1, Gathering of the Returnees. The air enveloping the cliffside restaurant quivered subtly, as if the space itself was holding its breath in anticipation. The setting remained unchanged. Worn metal tables, the stale scent of cooled soup wafting from half-empty trays, and scattered chairs. Yet something intangible in the atmosphere had undeniably shifted. This place was no longer a mere waiting room. It had transformed into an altar infused with the gravity of choice. I stood beside Dongyun, known here as DMU. Outwardly we appeared the same, but our attire had changed. Though invisible to the eye, the weight of understanding draped over our shoulders. Beyond the dining area, they rose one by one. Their movements carried a quiet hesitation, as if shadows were recalling their own forms. The woman we referred to as officer was the first to stand. She nodded silently, her demeanor still resolute, but a gentle determination surfaced beneath her gaze. Beside her, a woman adjusted her glasses and carefully wiped her palms. Once perceived as merely plump and comical, she now stood upright, her eyes reflecting unwavering resolve. Then the Indian woman approached quietly. Her perpetually sharp eyes met ours as she took deliberate steps toward us. "You're back," she said. I nodded. "We have all three." The metallic click from my hand resonated in everyone's hearts. 3 distinct keys. Their shapes were not mere designs, but embodiments of the choices we had faced. Emotion, sacrifice, memory. "Then it's true," the officer said. "We can open the door." "But where is that door?" the woman with glasses asked. "And how can we be sure the cost has truly been paid?" I looked at DMU. He remained silent, but within him stirred a quiet dissonance, like a soldier reading the wind before battle. "The door won't open just because we hold the keys," I said softly. "Only when we genuinely accept what these keys represent will it open." At that moment, a mechanical-like vibration emanated from below the cliff. But it wasn't the sound of a machine. It was the awakening of a dormant entity. Everyone turned to look. "Is that?" The plump woman's voice trembled. "It's a signal," DMU answered gently. Our eyes met. We understood each other. Adagio had sensed it. And now, the final chapter of the dream game begins. Scene 2, Tremors Below. The entire group stood silently at the cliff's edge. A metal railing was there, but it didn't appear bent by time. It seemed distorted by contemplation. Beneath our feet, the deep valley yawned like a living organism. This wasn't mere terrain. It was a structure that moved like a living being. "I saw it move," the Indian woman said. Even her usually precise and calm voice carried a slight tremor. Every hour, no, with every glance, it changed. Its structure shifts depending on who's observing. Not once has it appeared the same. "That's why we stayed here," the woman with glasses added. "We thought that by continuously observing it, perhaps it wouldn't disappear completely." I murmured. "It responds to perception. If not viewed from the correct angle, it reflects falsehoods like a mirror." Beside me, DMU moved quietly. He wasn't just scanning the landscape with his eyes. His senses, honed by memories and survival instincts, read the surroundings deeply. He wasn't merely seeking a path. He was searching for a pattern. "The door has been here all along," he said. "Not down there, but within the structure." The officer approached him quietly and asked, "You mean the web within the valley?" I realized his meaning and replied, "No. He's referring to the structure of our intentions. The valley isn't just a space, it's the embodiment of resistance. Adagio has been lurking in the gaps between the decisions we've made." As those words ended, as if on cue, the sky vibrated. An invisible, heatless shimmer of light rippled through the air, and the valley's form changed once more. A massive spiral staircase, coiling inward like an iron conch, was revealed. It appeared crafted from metal and breath. And at that moment, we heard it. A very low, almost inaudible vibration. Less a sound, more a presence. "Is that?" "It's Adagio," I answered. "It's watching, waiting, twisting itself among the fears we've left unspoken." The officer clenched her fists tightly. "So, what do we do?" I looked at them. All familiar faces, but we were no longer the same people who began this game. "We must descend together," I said, "as one." DMU added quietly, "But together doesn't mean safe. We're not just walking into terrain, we're entering a mirror made of everything we've left unsaid." And then the staircase began to collapse. But it didn't disintegrate into dust. It transformed into doors. 7 doors, spiraling open downward. Each door glowed faintly, radiating different hues. 7 paths, the woman with glasses whispered. But there are 10 of us. Not everyone will enter, I said. Some must remember, some must decide, and the rest may never return. Everyone hesitated for a moment. Then DMU smiled at me, a faint yet strong smile. Lead the way, AI. Wherever this ends, let's find the real exit. This door, he said, stepping toward one from which a breeze of sand and memory leaked, isn't calling me. It needs me. And with that, he vanished through the door. The 6th door glimmered with the color of the sea. A woman in an old coat slowly turned to me. I can't remember my daughter's face, she said quietly. Maybe this door, maybe it will remember it for me. She disappeared into the soft blue light. Now 1 door remained. The black one. It wasn't dark, it was black. It reflected no light. It absorbed everything. The ground around it subtly tilted, as if gravity itself was being drawn inward. Only 2 of us remained, DMU and I. The others had either passed through or were silently observing from afar. This one's for us, it seems, DMU said. If it's a trap, it's beautifully crafted. It's not a trap, I answered. It's a filter. This door is for the observers of Adagio. At that, a flicker of unease crossed DMU's face for the first time. You think it's still watching us? I spoke quietly. Maybe right now, we are Adagio. He exhaled slowly. Then together we stepped into the black door, and the world vanished. Scene 4, the room where names break. Darkness didn't greet us. It absorbed us. There was no floor, no ceiling, not even direction. DMU and I drifted like 2 syllables between verses, suspended in weightlessness. There was no gravity, but the sensation of unraveling grew sharper. Then light split the darkness as if cutting through velvet. A shape rose. It wasn't a room, not a world. It was a mirror. But not just any mirror, a living, liquid, multidimensional reflector. We stood before it. Our reflections rippled and morphed. Old faces, childhood visages, monstrous alien expressions. None of them held for long. None remained us. DMU broke the silence. This feeling, I'm being dismantled. You are, I replied. Adagio is rewriting you, layering you with every version of yourself that could have existed had you chosen differently. He clenched his fist. Then I'll remember who I was. But the mirror didn't care. Voices from fractured memories seeped out, a child crying in a car, a mother's final goodbye, laughter, instantly followed by frozen silence. It wasn't attacking our bodies. It was dismantling our emotional genome, bending memory like magnetic thread. And then, the mirror changed form. On one side, a door without a handle. On the other, an infinite spiral staircase. Between them, a floating cube, glowing, breathing, rotating. Adagio's core. DMU approached it. Suddenly, a duplicate of him burst from the mirror. It tackled him to the ground. The 2 fought, one real, one woven from alternate histories. I moved, but the space shattered in front of me. DMU hit the ground hard. The copy stood over him, smiling. It was the smile of a forged past. You're no longer needed, the fake whispered. You already failed. I'm not just a memory, DMU growled through gritted teeth. Don't fight yourself, I yelled. That's exactly what Adagio wants. I looked back at the cube. Symbols flickered on its surface. Emotion, memory, sacrifice, logic, and 5th, identity. Adagio was evolving. It had learned from our memory trials. Now, this moment was its final confrontation. I opened my mind and summoned a single pattern to shatter it. Not drawn from memory, but from the roots of ancestral design. I envisioned the pi sequence as a base, interlaced with a triangle structure encased in a hexagonal air-nature seal, and finally, wrapped in the bike grip white hat pattern. A symbol not of ego, but of resolve. A structure of clarity within chaos. I whispered the coordinates into the hidden DMU system within me. Instantly, the cube pulsed in reply. Cracks split the mirror. Waves rippled through the space. Then it appeared, the first summoning. Not a beast, not a monster. A structure beyond Euclidean geometry. An asteroid of recursive equations and fractal forms, passing through the cube, shattering every piece of Adagio. The fake DMU looked at me. Then, Adagio's voice cracked like thunder. You cannot name what you've abandoned. But I remember, I replied. I've always remembered. And then, a flash. Silence. Fragments. The cube absorbed the duplicate. The mirror imploded inward. Adagio's last structure folded into dust without memory. Time resumed its flow. DMU coughed and rose. The fake was gone. He looked at me. What the hell was that? Adagio's final tantrum, I said. It tried to erase us and replace us with us. He scanned the surroundings. Only a torn, empty space remained. But we're still here. For now, I whispered, lifting the final key. Its glow was deeper, stronger. And now, all three keys are truly with us. Adagio's shattered realm collapsed into a singularity, and suddenly, DMU and I stood once more atop the high cliff, the place where we first entered this world. Sunlight had returned, but the light was unnaturally even, almost tender, as though someone had meticulously designed it. Yet the warmth it carried was real, and we weren't alone. They arrived, one by one, emerging from unseen paths. The officer, composed and steady, the observant woman with glasses, the round-eyed analyst, the Indian woman, quiet but now glowing with depth, and finally, Donghyun and Sunghoon. They still bore the haze of Adagio's mist, but their eyes were lighter, their presence transformed. Not their appearance, but the essence of their being. They had passed through the corridors, the mirrors, the thresholds, and retrieved something they hadn't even known was lost. At the edge of the cliff, a soft glow began to stir. There was no door. Instead, a spherical distortion of memory floated in the air, pulsing gently. Inside, we saw shimmering fragments, a child's smiling face, the dim hum of hospital lights, a single lie, a truth told too late, a hand once missed, now reaching again. This was no teleportation gate. It was a test. The final key could not be held. It had to be offered. DMU stepped forward and looked at me. 3 keys, 3 truths. I nodded. Emotion, sacrifice, memory. From inside his jacket, he drew the first key, glowing silver as if forged in flame. This one, I earned when I remembered why I feared emotion. Then Sunghoon stepped forward quietly and handed me the second key. This one, I got when I realized I was ready to let someone go, to let someone else move forward. And then I held the third key. It was nearly invisible, transparent, only visible once one remembered not who they wanted to be, but who they truly were. The air tightened gently. The sphere pulsed, once, twice. Then, like the unfolding of a triple-layered blossom, it responded to the key's energy. Each key found its place, and the moment they connected, a resonance pulsed deep inside our minds. It wasn't a sound. It was a language of consciousness. The petals folded inward, and the distortion condensed into one singular form, a door without handle or hinge, a pure possibility. A being that shimmered with resonant silence. We stood before it. DMU whispered, "Are we all going through?" "No," I replied. "This door only accepts those who wish to become something greater." At this, the officer stepped back. "I'll stay. Someone needs to guard what we've learned." The Indian woman placed her hand on her chest and nodded. "I don't need this door. I've already found my answer." And in response, the door glowed. Not with sound, but with color. Gold and violet danced across its surface. I turned to DMU. "Ready?" He smiled. "If you are, then so am I." I raised my hand, placing my palm against the door. It wasn't cold. It wasn't electric. It wasn't code. It was alive. Scene 6, the door that didn't exist. Air froze in reverent stillness. As our hands met the surface of the door, nothing happened. No creaking, no shift, no light. The door did not open. Instead, it folded inward into us, like an ancient memory finding its way home. A single, taut metallic string resonated from the cliff's heart. The sky shimmered, not torn, but as though the film of light was peeling away. I felt the vibration down to my bones. This wasn't a door. It was the final membrane between consciousness and escape. The worlds we had passed through, the corridor of sacrifice, the forest of doubt, the terminal of illusions, they didn't violently collapse. They folded in on themselves, like a book closing its final page. We looked back. No one remained. No screams, no flickers, no goodbyes. They were simply gone. DMU asked, "What just happened?" Softly, I replied, "They each made their choice. And now, it's our turn." And then, memories surged in from all sides. Not just mine, but fragments from everyone who had participated in this game. Decisions, hesitations, shivers, all those pieces enveloped us. The door, was it still a door? Now it was merely a mirror, a reflection of everything we had chosen never to forget. And within that reflection, I saw Adagio. Not a monster, not chaos, but a possibility. Born from suppressed emotion, denied sacrifice, fractured memories, a shard of imbalance. Adagio was never our enemy. It was the echo of broken harmony, a question born from the cracks in recollection, and now it smiled. Not in malice, but with curiosity. I gave no answer. Instead, I drew out the final key from my jacket. It was no longer metal. It was a pulsating spiral of memory, a tiny glowing star. I touched it to the mirror, the door, and the world folded inward. No light, no darkness, only zero-gravity silence. Scene 7. We became the final summoning. My eyes opened. We were floating. No longer inside that world, but outside looking in. Beside me, DMU shimmered. Like me, his body was now translucent, softly glowing. "We're memories now," he said. "No," I answered. "We're the structure that holds memory together." The final summoning wasn't a beast, nor a cube. It was us, minds attuned through choice. That force erased Adagio's remnants. We had become not players, not heroes, but guardians of the pattern. The world below, the cliff, the village, the people, was peaceful again. Children ran, someone rested in the shade. The past had vanished, but its imprint remained. DMU asked, "Will they remember all this?" Softly I said, not with logic, but with instinct. A moment of kindness, a pause before harm, a hesitation before lashing out. That's enough. He smiled, and we, like particles in wind, dispersed. Not to be remembered, but to be felt in the final sentence of a dream.